Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Catching up on some news from the weekend. Obviously, Willie Adames off the board. Juan Soto's now off the board. But another big signing that happened was Tyler O'Neill going to the Orioles. And yeah, it is Tyler O'Neill who probably doesn't, obviously isn't in that realm of Juan Soto or even that Willie Adames. But Tyler O'Neill was one of the better power hitting bats on the market. And this is interesting for this O's team, mainly because it makes you think that obviously Anthony Santander might be out now. So, what was your first initial reaction to this news? It kind of kick-started us going into the winter meetings,
Yeah,
but obviously we're catching back up on it. But what were you thinking when it came up on your phone?
yeah, that's exactly where my mind went first. Is this is really just a cheaper Anthony Santander, pardon me. Obviously, you missed the switch hitting from Santander. Obviously, that's the biggest hole you would be missing there. But O'Neill's been a pretty good player. Obviously, I think he hit 30 plus homers last year. There's an opt out after one season, and this it was very interesting to see that they brought in left field this year. They obviously made that big drastic change, and I think it scared a lot of free agent hitters away. And now they bring that in. Obviously, it attracts a guy like O'Neill. And they also bring in a guy like Gary Sanchez. We'll touch on a little bit here, but this is a big one to get. The Orioles don't really spend that much money, so it's nice to see them in the market for somebody like this, and he's going to be a really good fit with Cedric Mullins in the outfield.
Well, I guess we'll find out too if they are going to start spending some money because it's a new ownership
That's
group.
true.
And yeah, it's different. So, if we take a look at Tyler O'Neill throughout his career, it's been up and downs. The injury bug has gotten him.
Yeah,
He was a 6-win player in
yeah,
2021 and was a top 10 MVP finalist that year.
and won a
He
Gold Glove.
hasn't he hasn't necessarily been that guy over the past couple of seasons. Obviously, he's not stealing bases anymore. He's really just a power bat.
Hmm.
But he went to Boston in 113 games, hit 31 homers.
Yeah,
Obviously, the Green Monster's going to play into his swing. You alluded to it. Camden Yards is making some changes once again in left field,
yeah,
but he is staying in the AL East where he just had some success. So I think this will be a good signing for them. It'll be interesting how they use him, whether that be some DH, some outfield, because they do have some more athletic guys
yeah,
in their farm and on their bench. We'll get to a sec. But as far as the power production goes, this is gonna be a good fit. It should be on paper at least. And
yeah,
like you said, they did also add Gary Sanchez to be their backup catcher. He is what he is. He's not gonna hit for average. He never has. He's gonna hit some homers. Only 11 last year. But defensively, he has gotten better over the past couple of years, which got him,
yeah,
back to the league after having to leave for a little while. So
yeah,
if you take a look at their lineup, they have Tyler O'Neill penciled in the four hole. He would have outside of Santander, uh, would have been second in homers last year or third. I guess if you're taking Santander into
yeah,
consideration for the O's last year. So it's going to be a good piece. They do still have Ryan O'Hearn who does DH quite a bit. So it'll be interesting to see how they interchange these two. But you need more. They do need more, and obviously the O's probably know that at this point. And some people thought maybe you know a Willie Adames could fit the O's,
yeah,
even though they are loaded with Jackson Holiday and Gunnar and Westberg. Maybe people thought they could trade one of those guys and turn it into something better. This is still a really good team, young team,
yeah,
but they have a lot of work to do still. It's a good start.
yeah,
We'll see. They lost Santander. Well, they haven't lost him yet, but
yeah,
it's looking likely.
yeah,
But they also lost Corbin Burns, so
yeah,
obviously hasn't lost him yet.
yeah.
But you're gonna have to bid pretty high to retain him. So
Yeah, like
uh,
you said with the new ownership, it's going to be interesting to see kind of what they're all about. Obviously, it's a good start bringing in O'Neill, but I mean the guy that I'm interested to see if he can take another step, is Colton Cowser. I mean, he had 23, 24 homers last year. And that they're hoping that he can replace a lot of Santander's production, right? I mean, if he takes another step, say he hits 30 homers next year, that could be a really good boost for them. But the Orioles, well, obviously won the division 2 years ago, made the playoffs last year, and they haven't had much success in the playoffs. So obviously a really good young team, and now it's all about taking that next step in October. And I think there's still a couple pieces away offensively for sure.
Yeah, and before we wrap this up, I think one thing with the O's is just getting veteran presence.
Yeah,
I think the veteran presence has been lacking a little bit when they get to the playoffs. The experience, you know, if they can add, I don't know, maybe like a JD Martinez, I feel like that's a guy that they can go get. It reminds me of them going and getting
like a Nelson
Vlad
Cruz.
Guerrero, and then
Yeah,
Nelson Cruz, and
yeah,
then they've got Mark Trumbo in the past.
yeah,
Getting a guy like JD Martinez and kind of going back to what worked, in 2012, 13, 14, 15.
yeah.
Um, obviously those teams had like a Adam Jones that had veteran presence. I think this team's just lacking some of that.
Hmm.
And if they can go get some veteran presence, looks like potentially in the outfield is where that opening would be, or at first base.
Yeah,
Maybe even a Pete Alonso makes
yeah,
sense for this group.
yeah,
So I know they have Ryan Mountcastle, but they talked about moving him. I just think that they need to go get some type of veteran presence and tie that together with their young core. Obviously, you don't want to clog up the base paths. They're a pretty athletic team. They steal a lot of bags,
yeah.
but they're gonna need some veteran seasoned hitters to stack in the middle of this order. I do like the Tyler O'Neill addition, but that starting pitching is gonna need some work as well. So
Yep.
before we
And
wrap up, you got any extra thoughts on that?
no, I like the fit. O'Neill's. I think he's going to fit great in left field, and he's going to provide a lot of pop that could be missing on that lineup from last year.
Alrighty, well, that's gonna do it for this one. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. As always, we appreciate you guys listening and watching. We're over 4,000 subs now. Gonna keep it moving, keep it growing. We'll see you on the next one. Later.